911, what's the emergency?
There's been a massive landslide on Highway 530.
There is a house on 530 and a big slide, and it is covering the road.
It sounded like an earthquake was happening, and there's hundreds of trees everywhere.
There's like a mudslide and everything's gone. The houses are gone. There's people yelling for help. Oh my gosh.
My neighbor's house and their neighbor's house has been completely taken out. It's collapsed on several of them, and they're trapped.
We have people that are yelling for our help, and we are going to take extreme risks to try to get them out of there tonight.
Emergency managers in Snohomish County still trying to reach people trapped by that massive landslide. The wall of mud and debris killed 3 people and injured at least 8 others. And people who live along the North Fork of the Stillaguamish River are being told to evacuate. The slide covers Highway 530 near Oso and has clogged up the river. And there are concerns now about what happens next. We have team coverage tonight. We will start with King 5's Heather Graff live at the Arlington.
That's Palo Falco, moments after a massive wall of mud and debris came crashing down onto State Route 530 and right in front of his car.
I was coming down the hill, and we just saw that thing coming. Like, the best thing to describe is a darkness.
And while it is still far too dangerous to go beyond the roadblocks now set up in Snohomish County, Palo's muddy shoes and his still shaky voice.
I feel lucky. I feel lucky.
Give us a glimpse into the devastation this landslide left behind.
Oh my gosh, look at that, guys. Look at these.
Part of this tightly knit community has been lost.
Rescue crews and volunteers work round the clock searching the muddy debris field for victims.
If you stop long enough, you'll start to lose it.
Coming together in the hopes of a miracle.
Volunteer firefighters like Jeff McClellan have been working around the clock, along with a crew of others, trudging through mud, debris, and wreckage to fulfill a grim task.
Some of these are our friends. Some are, family of some of our people that serve for us. And, close firefighter friend of ours lost his wife and his granddaughter. That's tough.
Reinforcements have arrived to the town of Darrington.
Squad 2 leader to East 3 rescue.
Local, state, federal agencies are working as one in the aftermath of a deadly landslide.
Plan is to kind of intensify the search area.
But with extra hands and feet in town, access to the hardest hit zones are harder to come by.
Because not everybody's allowed access in here. We're in here right now because we live here and we were able to get in. Photos and a Bible. Starting Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, as we come across mementos and things of personal nature, we're putting them in, picking them up and collecting them.
We shared with you earlier this week that an Oso firefighter's wife and 4-month-old granddaughter were among the missing, and the photos of that precious little girl will just make your heart hurt. Well, tonight we are sad to have to pass along that loved ones tell us the grandmother, 45-year-old Christina Jeffords, is now confirmed dead. We are learning more about her as the search for the baby continues. There is a void at this Marysville dentist office.
Her desk is empty, yeah. It's a constant reminder.
An empty chair and an unending heartache that no amount of flowers, condolences, or kind words can heal.
She's just a wonderful person, caring, giving, loving.
Christina Jeffords worked as the office manager here for more than 20 years. She was babysitting her 4-month-old granddaughter, Sanoa, on Saturday morning when the landslide came down on their Steelhead Drive home. Her firefighter husband and adult daughter, Sanoa's mom, have been searching for the pair ever since.
And I imagine them caked with the same earth that swallowed up their family members.
But the search for Chris, as those in Dr. Peterson's office often called her, came to an end sometime Sunday.
When you're in this business, you know that from time to time there will be occasions where authorities come by and ask for records.
Their fears confirmed.
to identify somebody, but you don't think it's going to be one of your own.
No word yet on baby Sanoa, but they know she has to be somewhere in the debris and close to where her grandmother was found.
But she just loved that child. She loved that child.
There is a void at this Marysville dentist's office.
They're just one story. There are hundreds, I'm sure.
And a family in Oso that will never be the same.
And I think she'd probably say, I'm okay. I'm okay. I've got Sanoa. I'll take care of her. Please take care of my daughter.
What do you do when all the questions seem to lead to dead ends?
Hello. Would you like to donate anything today?
If you're 12-year-old Kelsey Lee,
Thank you.
you set out a jar.
Have a good day.
Kelsey has raised $500 the past 2 days after school,
Thank you.
where an empty desk now sits, belonging to a classmate who is missing.
We have a lot of counselors in the library, and a lot of my teachers were crying.
With fewer than 500 people in Oso, everyone we talk to knows someone who's been lost.
That's what's hard.
Patricia Lee, Kelsey's mother,
I have a friend that's still missing.
may know several working the gas station counter.
I'm not seeing half of my customers, you know. I know when you do, they're crying.
Why, they ask.
I really can't believe that it's happened.
Why their town suffering such a staggering loss of life? Now a staging area for searchers and the focus of international attention. A question a preacher might be asked at the only church on a 29-mile stretch of Highway 530.
It is a truly difficult question. I don't know that anyone really has the answer.
Pastor Gary Ray knows from here on, the 80 members of Oso Community Chapel will be doing their best ministry outside the sanctuary.
Appreciate it. Yeah. All right.
Donations are already stacking up in the basement, with more arriving.
It's in our own backyard now.
And a community meeting planned for tomorrow night upstairs.
There is hope, and God gives us each other to hang on and to push through.
I hope for the best.
What do you do at a time like this? You hug the ones you love, shed your tears, and get back to work.
Thank you.
The slide is massive, 4,400 feet wide, 4,400 feet long, 30 to 40 feet deep. State geologist Dave Norman just flew over the slide.
This is one of the biggest landslides I've seen.
Glaciers on nearby peaks are remnants of the ice that once filled this valley. This is an example of the kind of material the glaciers left behind. A mix of sand, rock, it's very loose and easily saturated. Add rain, heavy rain this month, double the average. More than 15 inches. And here's a demonstration of exactly what happened. You have a foundation layer of either bedrock or very compressed clay. On top of that, this loose mix of sand and glacial rock. Add water like we had this past month, and it lubricates it, and it slides. We're expecting, at times, heavy rainfall up here later this week. The question now is, could there be additional slides?
The before picture on the left shows the Stillaguamish River and Highway 530. After the slide, the massive amount of mud and debris, 1.5 miles wide, cuts off the river.
Family and friends of those lost in that landslide refuse to give up hope, despite just how much time has now passed.
King 5's Jake Wittenberg talked to one woman who made it her mission to find her friend, and she did.
And, you know, the look on people's faces, they couldn't believe it, and at that point in time, we didn't even know the magnitude of it.
And she didn't know that her childhood friend Summer Raffo, who shared a love of horses, was buried.
And her mom she called me and she was crying and she said, Summer's stuck in the mud. At that point in time, I promised her that I would do whatever it took to make sure we got her out of the mud.
Cook and Dane were able to stall the recovery helicopter long enough to call other family, so she and 3 of Summer's brothers could be the ones to pull her free from the driver's seat.
Breaks your heart, but you're also relieved she's no longer in the mud.
Some closure tonight for the family of 4-month-old Sanoa Hustis. Her body was found today at the site of the landslide. According to the family, she will be buried with her grandmother, Christina Jeffords, who was found in debris not far away. Christina was babysitting her granddaughter when the slide happened. Sanoa Eustis, Christina Jeffords, and Steve Neal are some of the people featured in a special section on King5.com dedicated to the victims of the slide. You can go there and read their personal stories. Just look for the link on King5.com.
Up to 7 million cubic yards of land and debris broke loose during the landslide. To give you some perspective, that would cover 547 football fields, including end zones, 6 feet deep. It would fill Boeing's Everett plant, the world's largest building, almost halfway. And the debris field is 8 times the amount of dirt and muck being dug out by Bertha for the tunnel under downtown Seattle.
And write gas cards on the check. I want to show you something. These are the donations that came in one day. The total, $56,890. Let me give you a $100 gas card. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Here's a $100 gift card for food.
Oh, wow.
On top of that, okay?
Thanks. I don't know how to say thank you to all the help that we've had in this pen.
We needed to do something.
You're going through it too.
Yeah. Well, I'm an EMT, first responder. So, knowing that there's a firefighter that his family's missing, sorry. Okay. Knowing that we had to do something.
There were tears.
Thank you.
Now I want your t-shirt. But this caring seemed to make everyone feel better. Just visit King5.com for more details. So far, your generosity has raised more than $553,000 for OSO.
This gym doubles as Darrington's community center.
We don't need all the fancy stuff. We just make it work.
Tells you a lot about this town. All wood, all local lumber, built by loggers for loggers.
We were sure babes, weren't we?
Cheryl Angels was a cheerleader here as a kid.
Yep.
Now reprising her role
That's it.
in a time of need.
We need to be their cheerleaders. We need to be out on the outskirts saying, you can do this and we got your back. What do you need next? So this is the guys I went to school with, and there's a lot of guys in here right now out there working.
She's the third generation of a logging family.
I bought penny candy in this store.
Who is trying to motivate her friends that are suffering on multiple levels.
It's just that's our uncles out there, and that's our aunties and our grandpas and our papas.
This town took it personally when reports suggested timber harvesting may have triggered the deadly slide.
I took offense. My husband took offense. There's other words.
My husband took offense to it.
Yes. I mean, we're really getting blamed.
Sherry Brewer says it felt like getting kicked while you're down.
There's not a one that I think that hasn't either packed an injured or a dead comrade out of the woods.
For the record, the State Department of Natural Resources tells King5 it does not believe logging contributed to the 530 slide. A UW landslide expert echoed that. It is a disaster, however, that has prompted loggers in this community to act. The state and federal organizers have asked for help with heavy machinery, and as these photos show, loggers are now responsible for the rescue and recovery.
This stuff is for the loggers that are helping on the site.
There is a food bank.
The loggers won't go to those places.
At Brewer's home.
Well, I'll pay it forward someday. It's okay.
Just for loggers.
From the minute went out today.
Yeah, I know. They went in knowing that they were all donating their time and their equipment.
Donations and support.
A tragedy like this can just make everyone come together.
Pouring in.
And they will be in there until they find every last victim in that slide. Potato.
These ladies say, once again, their town, their community will be rebuilt, and it will be done with pride. Logger pride.
Throughout our coverage of the Oso landslide, we've talked a lot about Steelhead Drive, a street virtually wiped off the map.
In 2007, Snohomish County drafted a written notice warning residents that Steelhead Drive was in a hazardous area. But King5 investigator Chris Ingalls uncovered that the notice was sent to only one homeowner there.
I just lost a house and possessions. Our friends and neighbors up there lost everything.
Davis Hargrave knows he's one of the lucky few.
This was before I built the new deck.
His longtime vacation home on Steelhead Drive is gone. But it's not the place, it's the people that matter. And he says the people in his neighborhood were never warned that a slide could cross the Stillaguamish River in his backyard and hit homes.
I have no record of or recollection of any conversation, any letter, any presentation. Zero, zip, nada.
After this 2006 landslide near the neighborhood, Snohomish County did take steps to warn residents. The King 5 investigators found the county drafted this notice in 2007. The Hazard Area Disclosure Notice warned that the area is at risk of potentially life-threatening destructive mud, water, and debris flows. But records show the notice was only issued once to one homeowner on Steelhead Drive.
What I think is that, there's a failing of the system here somewhere.
The notice was signed by a couple in 2009 who wanted to move this manufactured home onto their Steelhead property. The county planning department says the notice was only required to be signed for building permits, and there was only one since 2007. Everyone else, from people buying homes in the neighborhood to longtime owners like Davis Hargrave, knew nothing about the official county warning.
If these conclusions could have prevented one person up there, one person, one more survivor, and they didn't give it to us, then there's fault.
Neighbors say the county allowed 7 homes to be constructed right after the 2006 slide, another cue that all was safe. The homes were permitted before the warning notices were required in 2007. One builder I spoke with on the phone said he too was unaware of the ongoing danger. He worked for the company that built those homes, and then he bought one. His stepson is now among the missing. Perhaps no one could have predicted the massive slide that swept Steelhead, but reports and warnings of potential risks seem to never make it to the people actually living in harm's way.
They should figure out what happened, why it happened, and they should figure out how to fix it so it doesn't ever happen again.
The county has said that people knew of the risks on Steelhead Drive and chose to live there anyway. But in the paperwork we've seen, there doesn't seem to be much written evidence of that.
Nice one! For the 2 players on this team who lost their homes in the landslide.
You all right, Ben? Here we go, 11.
For everyone in this heartbroken town.
We buried 4 of ours on Sunday, so kind of set in, and I'm glad we have a game today.
Yeah, our first home game of the season, and our first since the slide.
Even Governor Jay Inslee.
It is a moment of inspiration, so I wanted to support it.
Had to see this field of dreams for himself.
Oh, we just had a big hit. There's maybe a double. All right, go Loggers.
And for the first time in weeks, joy is back in Darrington.
Yeah, go, 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 go!
To the team who made her smile when she didn't think she could.
Things might never be normal.
Suzette can say only this.
You did good.
3 simple words of gratitude. And for this community, one very big win.
Go, Eden!
A big day for a small town. The president touched down near Oso today to offer support and condolences and to see the devastation of the landslide firsthand.
To see the strength in adversity of this community, I think, should inspire all of us. Because this is also what America's all about. When times get tough, we look out for each other.
Tonight, new reaction from families about the president's trip was short but eventful.
King 5's Heather Graff is live in Oso with one family's personal experience and the gift they gave to President Obama.
It was just 2 days ago that the bodies of Steve and Teresa Harris were found buried deep in the debris at the site of the landslide. This afternoon, their 2 young daughters were among the families that met with the president here at the Oso Community Church just behind me. They gave him a DVD just like this one that contains a copy of their family photo album and a glimpse at what was lost.
Excitement over the president's visit lines the very highway on which the Oso landslide took place.
About 12 miles up 530 from here.
And as history drives by in a blur.
But
a few miles away, 2 sisters in Arlington wish they could rewrite it.
we were hoping that it was, a minor slide.
That was their hope on the morning of March the 22nd. A hope that faded when Laura and Christina climbed to the top of a bluff days later and finally saw the devastation for themselves.
And even where our property was, you can't get there.
Still.
It was nicknamed No Man's Land.
Conditions that kept rescue crews from finding their parents, Steve and Teresa Harris, for an entire month. The girls got the call on Easter morning.
We don't know what they found yet. We're still waiting on
details.
By then, their family had suffered another devastating blow.
No one saw his pain. He just was very strong, and I think he felt like if he showed weakness, it would affect us.
The Harris's cousin, JBLM soldier Kristen Browski, took his own life not long after he came to Oso to help dig through the debris. He wanted to find his aunt and uncle.
We would have brought him out there to meet Obama with us today.
Instead, the two sisters on Tuesday met with the president on their own.
It meant a lot to see him care, really. I gave him a copy of our photo album so he could maybe get a perspective of what my parents saw.
Photos of a picture-perfect cabin in the picture-perfect Stillaguamish Valley.
That's where they wanted to be, you know?
And two young girls who trade a meeting with the president for just one more minute with mom and dad.
Anything can change at any moment, so you need to embrace what you have and never take it for granted.
In a place that is still so far from healed, progress can be a powerful thing.
It's changed quite a bit. If you have a chance to get out there and drive it, you'll see how significantly different it is.
And at the site of the Oso landslide, you might say this is a milestone. 70 acres of land once completely covered in debris that come Friday will finally be clear.
We processed about 200,000 cubic yards of material.
Matt Zybus ran the project for Snohomish County and will tell you this was about so much more than removing soil and rock.
It's, you know, the pictures and things that are very sentimental to people that were part of their lives prior to this event.
It's about the nearly 1,000 prized possessions crews found as they sifted through mounds of earth and pieces of homes destroyed in the slide.
I spent all morning cleaning it off.
Family heirlooms. Yeah. Like what's left of this beaded Native American bag they were able to return to survivor Robin Youngblood.
I had asked them to keep their eyes open for certain ceremonial items that I had and so forth.
This construction site is sacred.
I had asked them to please be respectful and not pass them through too many hands, and they were very good about that. I really appreciate it.
And to that, these crews have just one response. It was an honor. In Oso, Heather Graff, King 5 News.
Your parents aren't going to be running the prom? Because I am.
A plan was hatched. Bring Darrington the prom of a lifetime, and the timeless Darrington gym would be transformed from hardwood to Hollywood.
Big night. Pretty nice deal for the kids.
Oh, yeah! When you first walked in, what went through your mind?
Like, this isn't our gym. This isn't it. I don't know where I am.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Well, believe it. And the kids owned it.
Anything I can do for you?
In recent days,
Pick me up when I fall down.
there's this one question people keep asking Oso Fire Chief Willie Harper.
So everybody, we're going to get started.
What does 6 months feel like?
Some days, it feels like it's been 10 years. And other days, 10 minutes.
It's still hard to process the meaning of this anniversary and what they've been through since a hillside collapsed last March and swept away 43 lives. But a few cruel lessons emerged from the debris.
Appreciate what, and more importantly, who you have. All can be gone in an instant.
And never underestimate the strength of a community.
I'll leave that with Tim and let him pray for those still here. God knows we all need it.
Tim Ward, one of 9 who survived the disaster, relies, like many here, on a higher power.
We ask you, Lord, to comfort those that went ahead of us and that are now in the world beyond.
It's helped get them this far.
Amen.
The passage of time has hardly dulled the pain. But they're still standing, together. In Oso, Ted Land, King 5 News.
It was a rainy Saturday morning.
Well, March the 22nd started off like just any other day.
The morning of the Oso landslide.
911, what is your emergency?
My pager went off for what was reported as a roof of a barn and flooding in the road on State Route 530.
There is a house on 530, and it is covering the road.
We have people that are yelling for our help.
It was the longest week of this fire chief's career.
And we're going to take extreme risks to try to get them out of there tonight.
You know his face and you know his name because Travis Hotz had the unenviable task
Today's operation is going to involve aircraft.
of telling his community what no one wanted to hear.
We didn't see or hear any signs of life out there today.
He was the initial incident commander and the voice of this tragedy,
Because the mud was so thick.
who updated the media and the public every single day as the death toll climbed to 43 and the rescues turned to recoveries.
I would have rather been out there digging every single day than been a spokesperson. But when you agree to put a gold badge on and wear a white shirt in this business as a fire chief, you agree to let the firefighters and the company officers go out and handle those tasks.
With the debris field now clear and the 6-month anniversary of the landslide upon us,
We had people that we had already found.
this is the first time Chief Hotz has spoken publicly since that job was complete.
I don't take life for granted. I realize that it's fragile and that the unthinkable could happen at any time, at any place.
You'd feel the same way
Our people are going to remember this forever.
if you'd seen what he did.
Yeah, I had been there a very short period of time. You could hear helicopters in the background working. There's a lot of radio traffic going on. And an individual that I know that's on the fire department came up to me and said, hey, you know, my house is right over there. Can I come and take a look at it?
That man was Oso firefighter Seth Jeffords, and his home, his wife, and his infant granddaughter were gone.
Every fiber of my being wanted to just, essentially just cry. You know, I felt terrible for my fellow brother in the fire service and for all these other people that I knew had lost so much. We have a massive amount of resources that are here. We are going to do everything that we can. It's very disappointing to all the emergency responders that are here on the scene.
Hotz also knew then he had to keep going.
Yeah, they encouraged me to take a break like midweek. They said, you're getting tired. We're seeing it. People are seeing it. You need to go home and get some rest.
He tried to leave. He even got in his car, but then took a right on State Route 530 and joined his fellow firefighters in the search and rescue efforts.
It gave me that opportunity to be able to come back to the news conferences and explain what we're up against and try to paint a picture so that people could understand. And we're going to be working very, very hard out there.
And each time he faced the cameras, he thought of his own family, his 2 children, and the families who would never see their own loved ones again.
The question is what leads us to believe there may be more survivors?
You continued to talk about the hope of finding someone.
Yeah.
He says it was important then to keep that hope alive, just like it's important now to hope for continued healing.
To me, that's the ultimate sense of community.
And for this humble fire chief who inspired so many, that is what's most important.
I was just the spokesperson.
He never once wanted this story to be about him.
Helping your neighbors get through a tough time. It's one of the neatest things I've ever seen.
I picked up a book, and I could see it was a kid's book. And I opened the book, and it said, 3 Orphan Kitties was the title. And underneath it said, the world is a beautiful place. And I just burst into tears.
You have to be out here with them no matter what. You got to get out here and find them. I don't like knowing that they're up there still missing.
I text them every hour. I call and just tell them we're looking for you.
We can't lose hope. That's not what we're here for. We're here to find those people.
If we have looked in your eyes, if you have walked past us, if you have smiled at us, if you have held our hand, if you've given us a hug, if you have somehow thought about us.
Well, we appreciate people like you.
We thank you.